What's up, family? This is AJ of the DFS Whisperers coming to you with a video for this Wednesday evening NBA slate. Hope everybody had a great Tuesday. For us personally, we did pretty decent. My brother Easy and DFS Whisperer Kiki Wash both put out lineups for Maine that did pretty well, and my brother put out a late night lineup for the family that did pretty well as well. So all in all, it was a pretty good day. We move ahead to Wednesday, Hump Day, Wealthy Wednesday. Shout out to Draft Dashboard, this tool that I'm using. All the features that you see listed here are super helpful. You have things like the top sleepers and studs of the day. You get to see player trends. Basically, you get to see which players are due for a smash and which players are due for a dud. You also have a scary accurate lineup optimizer. And you have an NBA cheat sheet. For those of you that don't want to do research or don't have time to do research, the NBA cheat sheet is here to save your life. And then if you're the type of player that likes to max multi-enter, we have a late swap optimizer in case that one player gets ruled out right before a lock. Late swap optimizer allows you to swap that player out in all those lineups to whatever pivot you like. And so, yeah, sign up for a Draft Dashboard. It's $1 for your first 30 days. Link is in the bio. So invest $1. Notice I said invest because you do have the potential to win thousands within your first 30 days. So it's not a bad deal. Also, shout out to my Prizepicks as well. It's a dope DFS site where you run props on players. You guess over-unders on up to 4 players. And if you guess the over-under correctly on up to 4 players, you can win up to 10 times your money. So sign up to my Prizepicks. The link's in the bio. When you sign up, make sure you use promo code WHISPER. And then when you do that, you get a 2-player free prop and a 25% match on your first deposit. So shout out to my Prizepicks. All right, so with that being said, let's go ahead and get into it. We have a 10-game slate. Up top, I'm going to start off with BG, Blake Griffin. Now, he's at a $6,600 price tag, and let me see what he is on Fanduel. He is at $7,500 on Fanduel. But I'm liking Blake Griffin in this spot against Milwaukee. Now, I know with Blake, coming back from injury, we haven't seen that ceiling game Blake that, we're accustomed to seeing. But the thing is, you kind of, with some players, you got to kind of give them a chance to kind of get their wings underneath them. And Blake was pretty much due for that game in his most recent matchup against Cleveland, which, a person might look at that game and go, well, he only put up 33, which is not bad, but it's not that, 50-point Blake that we wanted. But the thing is, that game, he had most of that in the first half. I think he had about 25, 26 DFS points at halftime. And then what happened? That game blew out. So blowouts are not friendly to starters, especially players like Blake Griffin, who does, have a injury-prone history. So, coaches are going to be like, well, we'll just kind of, take it easy on him for the second half since this game is getting out of hand. So he ended up finishing with 33, but he was well on his way to a smash. But I'm liking him in this matchup against Milwaukee. Does have a 70 dash ranking going into this game. Projected to get 35 points. 56% chance to hit 5 times value. Will give you about 1.1 fantasy points per minute. And you look at his last couple of matchups versus Milwaukee. He did put up a 37 and a 49. So did have some pretty decent game. And then one game where he absolutely smashed. And then so like I said, we've seen that Blake hasn't really, been that ceiling Blake that we've been wanting to see, but I feel like it's coming. And it may be against this team, Milwaukee. I mean, this is probably one of the, probably the cheapest we'll see Blake all year at 6,600. So I'm loving his price in this matchup. Next up is Robert Covington at $5,200 on DK. 77 dash ranking going into this matchup against Dallas. 50% chance to hit 5 times value. Will give you about 1 fantasy point per minute. And honestly, this is more of a gut feeling play. I'm I'm feeling a Robert Covington game here. 2 out of his last 3 matchups, he put up a 37 and a 43, and then he had a 22, which it's kind of subpar, but it he has a pretty solid history against Dallas. Obviously, if you look at his last 5, I mean, it hasn't been great. 25, 20, an 18, and a 23. But for some reason, I'm feeling like this could be a Robert Covington game where he scores, over 30 DFS points, maybe even close to 40. I'm just loving the spot. So by the end of the night, it could be saying his last, 3 out of his last 4 matchups against Dallas, he's put up at least 40. So, and his price is pretty fair. He's priced mid-tier. So feeling Robert Covington. Next up, you can run back to Thomas Satoransky. Still not too expensive yet. Still priced mid-tier at 5,200. He's projected to get about 28 points in this matchup. Him and Robert Covington look like they're projected about the same. But yeah, I mean, and he's playing Memphis, who's terrible at defending guards. And just overall, whose defense is not that great. You see they're 28th against guards and just 28th overall defensively in the league. Last couple of matchups, he did put up a 37 and a 25, and I think the matchups before that, he didn't really play much. But Satoransky over the last few games has been seeing around 30 minutes on average. So we see that his position on this Bulls in the Bulls backcourt is pretty solidified right now. We see he's put up a 42, a 30, and a 25, and up against a team that doesn't defend guards pretty well. I could easily see another, good Satoransky, excuse me, a Satoransky solid effort. I can't talk, but projected, like I said, to get 28 in this matchup. If I were to make my own personal projection, I could see him getting about 35 in this matchup. Next up is DJ Augustine. Like him against the Phoenix Suns, 73 dash ranking going into this matchup, 55% chance to hit 5 times value. We'll give you about 0.8 fantasy points per minute. Projected to get 21 in this matchup. Now, I'm highlighting him as a solid value play, but check out his history versus Phoenix. His last 3 games, he put up a 41, a 28, and a 45. So apparently he loves playing Phoenix. And for 4,100, I mean, if he gets you what he's projected to get you at 21, you're not mad because he's so cheap. But if he can get you 30 to 40 DFS points, I mean, that's a beautiful thing. Not saying he's going to do it, but certain players just love to play certain teams. I mean, he's the same way against my Atlanta Hawks. I mean, he loves to tear us up anytime he plays us. So Atlanta and Phoenix are 2 teams he loves to play. So if you want to run a DJ Augustine, it's not a bad move. He is coming off a great game. He just put up 35 DFS points. So, I mean, if you want, you can run right back to him. And, just to reiterate, I mean, some players, it's just certain players and certain teams that they just get out of bed for. Like I had mentioned on the video the other day, like with Rudy Gobert had a string of subpar games and nobody was willing to pay up for him. But I had mentioned that, he loves playing Joel Embiid for whatever reason. I mean, he just gets out of bed for him. So, that day he ended up putting up 52 DFS points out of nowhere. So you just got to watch little trends like that. So I like DJ Augustine against the Phoenix Suns. Next up, DeAndre Jordan at 5K. 76 dash ranking going into this matchup with Atlanta. Projected to get about 23 points in this matchup. I'm actually going to take the over on that. I'll tell you why. He does have a 53% chance to hit 5 times value, but the reason I have him going over that projection is because look at his history versus Atlanta. Now, granted, I know he's kind of in a slightly reduced role coming off the bench behind Jared Allen, but check out his last 5 versus Atlanta. 35, 28, 39, 53, and 42. Not bad. Now, the reason I have him going over this projection is because I don't really see nobody, down there in that paint that's going to really contend with him coming off the bench. I mean, one of our most active bigs in the paint starts for us is Damian Jones. But after that, I mean, you have a sporadic Alex Len who doesn't defend bigs very well. I mean, I like I mean, DeAndre's seeing 20 to 25 minutes off the bench, but I could still see him getting a strong double-double in this matchup against Atlanta. Because for whatever reason, he likes to tear us up. And then on top of that, we don't really have nobody to contend with him down there in that paint. And I mean, for 5K, DeAndre is almost at value. He's kind of almost kind of mid-tier priced. Almost kind of in the, I mean, he's almost in the 4K range now, but I could see 30 to 35 point DeAndre. I mean, he could get a strong double-double in his limited time off the bench. That's just what I'm feeling. So I'm liking DeAndre in this spot. And then next up, Lauri Markkanen, 88 dash ranking going into this matchup, projected to get 32 points against Memphis. 52% chance to hit 5 times value. Pretty solid history against Memphis. He put up a 27, 36, a 46, and a 32. You probably heard my brother mention before the trend of bigs that can shoot against Memphis. So you have a couple trends with Memphis. You have guards against Memphis, and then you have bigs that can shoot against Memphis. Now, if you look at Mark in his last 5 in general, they have not been great. Obviously, he hasn't been really getting the minutes, kind of coming off that injury or from the offseason. And, he hasn't really, coach is not really running him like that. But these last couple of matchups, I noticed he had an uptick in minutes. He actually played around 30 minutes in his last couple of matchups, put up a 28 and a 31. So, if we're going to see that trend, if we're going to see him trend upward like that, buy low while you can, because this is the cheapest that Markkanen has been in a while. He's at 5,600. If he sees 30 plus minutes, I could easily see a Markkanen breakout game here. Last year we were used to, this guy, we were rostering him most nights and he was putting up 40 and 50 burgers. I could see that happening, against Memphis. They're a young team. They don't defend very well. They don't defend forwards well. They don't defend guards well. If Markkanen is going to see 30 plus minutes, I could easily see him scoring at least in the high 30s, maybe low 40s, DFS wise. So I like Markkanen in this spot. And as of right now, these are my favorite picks. As always, we appreciate you guys' support, your viewership, and let's get after it today, guys. Make sure you hit us up on our socials, Twitter at DFS Whisperers, Instagram at the DFS Whisperers. Email link is in the bio. And let me see here. I am going to, real quick, if I can get to it. Where is it? I know it's here, guys. Just bear with me. There it is. Prizepicks. Let's see what type of props they have on the board. Give it a second to pop up. All right. Okay, let's see what I'm feeling on some of these over-unders. Some of these props are real close. I'm tempted to take the over on Blake. Again, he's one of those players I'm feeling today. Like I said, yesterday against Cleveland, he was about to smash that, 33. Well, he had, 33 DFS points by the end of the game on DK. Remember, Prizepicks use Fanduel scoring, so blocks and steals count for a lot more. So if he racks up on those in his Milwaukee game, that'll inflate his score. And if you get 40 to 50 point Blake, he's going to be well over his prop. So I'm feeling the over on Blake Griffin. Let's see who else here. A lot of these props are really close right now. As of right now, I'd probably take the slight over on Eric Bledsoe as well at 31.5, because I know he's 27 or 28. And if I'm totally wrong on that, I'll update it in the comment section. But these are the two props that I'm feeling as of right now. I'm interested to see what happens to the projections as we get closer to lock. But if you want to lock in two props, lock these in. Remember, for those of you that haven't signed up already, sign up to my Prizepicks. The link is in the bio. Make sure you use promo code Whisper and you get a 25% match on your first deposit and a 2-player free prop as well. So once again, we appreciate you guys watching, and let's go into this Wealthy Wednesday with a new hope and a new vigor. We wish each and every one of you a nice hefty bag. And you know what else? We out here. Whisper Squad.